let's talk war. So, there's a war on, if you haven't noticed, if perhaps your only source of the news is Paper Jam and you didn't notice, there's a little bit of a war going on. And that is America bombing Iran and Iran bombing everybody else. Everybody's getting it. People who didn't think they'd get it are getting it. EU got brought into it. There was a little bit of action in Cyprus. But this started on the 28th of February with America dropping a significant amount of, what should we call it? Metal, shaped metal. I'm trying to make this nice. I don't think you can make it nice. Onto Iran, in hundreds of targets across at least 9 cities, including the compound of Supreme Leader Khamenei's office, government ministries, military facilities, missile production sites. The US have designated this operation Epic Fury, and Israel have designated its parallel operation, because they're doing this together, Operation Roaring Lion. But remember, back in June, for a day, there was also a little bit of bombing going on, where they actually did weaken a lot of the nuclear bomb-making facilities of Iran, but not entirely. So on the 28th, they decided to go in again. They decided to target all of these sites. And actually, within that first weekend, they actually killed the Supreme Leader, which is a bit strange. I mean, maybe we're too used to video games, but they killed the Supreme Leader within a weekend. And am I the only one who went, oh, game over, right? That's it. You killed the big boss. Job done. No, of course not. Of course it's not done. Maybe I'm being naive, because that's how simple it was in Venezuela. They went in, they took the Supreme Leader, they took him out, boom, job done. It seems to me like they've just left Venezuela to get on with it, but with the vice president instead, now that the president is on trial in New York, or will be on trial in New York, now that Maduro's gone, and they just left it in the hands of the VP. Violence, well, not the existing violence, of course, there was plenty of existing violence in Venezuela, but, America being warmongery seems to have calmed down in Venezuela. It did not stop or calm anything in Iran. It is still bursting out all over like a teenage with acne, just like, it's still happening. Okay, but they did kill the Supreme Leader. So if you go, well, maybe the entire purpose was to go in and do a bit of regime change, you would think, again, job done. No, because a regime is not one person. A regime is many people in order. And it seems like, through direct evidence from the mouth of Trump, that he does not have a clear idea of who he wants to take over. He weirdly said, oh, there were some people I had an eye on, but then I liked them, but then I didn't like them, but he doesn't really know. He just literally was like, need to bomb Iran. And I have 3 theories as to why. So let's see what you think. Shane says, nah, Iranian regime is the Rubik's Cube from hell. Yes, as in, it's not that simple. You can't just take the sticker off one corner, move it on to another corner, and think cube solved. Is that what you mean, Shane, by that? Because it isn't that simple, is it? It's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of different. It's basic. Is it more like I'm trying to think. What is it, like Cerberus or Medusa? You chop off one head and another one grows back. Is that right? Is Medusa? Am I mixing my mythologies on that one? But it does feel like that. But essentially, I think we're quite confident, given that Iran is still retaliating, and quite forcefully, and in a number of different directions, that they're not done. The regime still be there. So let's look at the whys. Now, first of all, leading up to the 28th of February, a lot of things were going on in a lot of different areas. I mean, crazily, just one day before the strikes, Oman's foreign minister publicly announced a breakthrough that Iran had agreed to never stockpile enriched uranium and to full IAEA verification, i.e. the nuclear watchdog. They were like, we will comply. We're absolutely fine with that. And Oman's foreign minister was like, peace is within reach. And then within 24 hours, they were being bombed by the US. So somebody knew something somewhere. I'll tell you who may have known something somewhere. I think Saudi Arabia knew more than they were letting on. Now, I recognize that by saying this out loud on this cast, which will then be chopped up and put into publicly available videos, that I might never, ever get an invitation to their own comedy festival. And it does sadden me. I'm going to be honest with you, it does sadden me. As those of you who have heard me talk on this subject before know, that I do not believe that being against everything that they stand for is enough reason not to take a 6-figure paycheck should they offer it, because I firmly believe that that money would be better off in my hands than it currently is in theirs. And so if that is all I have to do is go and do my job in the country and make a few people who had nothing to do with any of it laugh in order to get that money, to bring it back, to be able to do good things, then I'm probably going to say yes. Yes, if you want to cancel me for that, those are my morals. But I believe that money is flowing in the wrong direction, and any opportunity to flow it back, I am going to take it. But by saying what I'm about to say, I recognize that I might never be invited again. Okay? I might recognize that my name might be on a list somewhere near the border. So go it. Now then, on the 1st of March, this is the day after the bombing started, OPEC Plus met and agreed to increase oil output by 206,000 barrels. Now, this was not, let's be clear, in reaction to the war. It couldn't be. They had set this meeting in place before the bombing started. However, did it show signs that, because it's co-led, by the way, OPEC Plus is co-led by Saudi Arabia and Russia, really. OPEC originally started by Saudi Arabia, and then we added a few more countries. It became OPEC Plus, which it sounds like a vitamin, doesn't it? It sounds like a set of vitamins that you get Holland and Barrett and go, I don't just take OPEC, I take OPEC Plus for all of my crude oil needs. But they had already agreed to meet, but the increase in output was greater than they were going to increase it because of the war. But they always knew that they were going to agree to an increase. Now, the reason we think that maybe Saudi Arabia knew something about this is because, well, a lot of things. First of all, who benefits if Iran stops being able to give oil out to the world, which they're currently struggling to do? Saudi Arabia, right? Where did over 90% of Iran's oil go? To China. So who now can most easily get oil to China? Well, we got the Russians, we got the Saudi Arabians. So they are making bank right now. They are making bank by putting the oil out, more oil than before, but also at a higher price, okay? We are now paying more for the oil, which China definitely needs. All right. So there are some suspicions that Saudi Arabia kind of saw this coming. I think what Saudi Arabia probably didn't see coming and was a little bit surprised about is that Iran actually retaliated against Saudi Arabia directly with some of their hits. Now, Iran, once they were attacked by the U.S., like I said, they hit out in all directions. They hit out the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Israel, Jordan, Bahrain, Cyprus, as I mentioned earlier. The EU is now involved technically because Cyprus has been hit, and they were hit by weaponry that we know has a little bit of Russian stuff in there. That's the technical term, Russian stuff. Like some of it they can tell was Russian military. In fact, we already know that Russia has been helping Iran by giving them intelligence on American whereabouts, which you would think, oh, finally, is this going to upset Trump? Is Trump going to go, how dare Putin betray me in the war against Iran? How dare he? That's it. It's over with Ukraine. I am siding 100% with Ukraine. No. Trump still said, oh no, Putin, he's a good guy. Yeah. No, he's good. No, he's my guy. He's strong. He's fine. He's good. Oh, what did you? Nah, it's all right. I forgive. I'm fine with that. It's fine. He's fine with it. He's absolutely fine with it. One wonders, what does Putin have on Trump? What does he have on Trump? Why is it that no matter what Putin does, Trump forgives all of the time? Get this, you want to know what's even more messed up? Is that Ukraine have been asked to help with this war. Ukraine, who are currently worried that this war is going to eclipse their war and that people will forget that their war is even happening and therefore stop helping Ukraine. So can we just take a moment to remember the Ukraine war is still going on. They have been asked if they can help. And of course Zelensky has said yes. Of course he has. How can he not say yes? And why did they ask him? Because he's got the most recent experience of warfare. He's the one in all of the world who has been under fire for years now who can actually help with this. And of course he said yes, because that's how you do. Hopefully, if he does one more solid, people will do him a solid. And that's really the only choice he has. So they are now offering, Ukraine is offering military and intelligence expertise to help fight this war with Iran, all right? While being under attack from Russia, who is helping Iran against the U.S. And the U.S. has said, no, Russia, we forgive you for that, and is not helping Ukraine, even though Ukraine is helping U.S. I mean, even a soap opera writer, like the head writer of a soap opera, if I pitched this to them and said, how's this? Okay, I just want you to imagine, like, 4 or 5 people, they all hate each other. They're all in a fight, right? But like Russia and Iran, they're kind of friends. Like they're friends. They're friends, right? They're kind of friends in the kind of like, we both hate the same people, so we should be friends kind of way, right? And Russia's totally picking on her neighbor, Ukraine, and has been like bullying the shit out of her for days, right? But then there's the one that they all hate, which is America. And America is just like a bit of a dumb blonde bitch, right? And America is now like beaten up on Iran. And Russia's like, that is my friend. I'm going to help my friend against America. But then America's like, oh my God, Russia, I totally love you. You do you. You do you. You do whatever you do. Oh my God, are you still bullying Ukraine? Yeah, Ukraine, I need you to help me against Iran because Iran's a total bitch. Even the head of that writer's room would go, too complicated. I'm sorry, too complicated. Like, cut it down. Simpler characters. They can't all be the same. They can't all be dumb blondes. They can't, cut it down. But that's what's happening right now. So I think Saudi Arabia knew something about it because they are winning big. And if you follow some of the money that's been flowing from Saudi Arabia into certain American coffers, like they bought a lot of Trump coin. They invested heavy in Trump coin. Why, as a foreign nation, would you invest in Trump coin if not to later be able to then go, oh, hey, you know how I bumped up your coin? Do you mind maybe bombing my neighbor so that I can sell to China? Because my neighbor's got a real monopoly on the whole China oil thing.